When footsteps fall in eldritch hollows, and spectres flee into the shadows, that is the time when horror's heroes abound, culling the ghouls that go bump in the night.
Eight bells and all is well from the heart of Lovecraft Country in the birthplace of American religious liberty. My name is Shanth Enjeti, and you are watching Shanth Enjeti Art. Today we're going to be doing some paintings. As you can see, I, as always, don't have my camera perfectly set up because I'm working on a detail here, so I'll see if I can get that a little bit better for you guys. It's great to see you on this fine Sunday. Lots of snow about. We're about to get a snowstorm up here. And Mark, channel member, and let me say hello to a few channel members here. Michelle Bowers, welcome, welcome. Mark's Music Obsession, when I was doing the credits for starters, for the credits, all channel members are going to have their names listed in the credits at the end of every show. That's the way we do it, as to the best of my ability. I read you saying that there was going to be, snow while I was doing this, but while I was doing the credits, I realized how much higher you are. You are in the top tier of OG at this point. But one person who has never slipped on the top tier would be my man Stephen Rockwood Drawing, who is numero uno channel member. But Mark, it was great to see you. And Mark was saying that, yeah, there's going to be snow all the way from Ohio Valley, New England. And yeah, it's craziness, but in Florida as well. And I know my sister-in-law was talking about getting snow in Houston. And if you've ever been down south, when we get snow, we don't know what to do with it. Chattanooga, Tennessee would shut down. Atlanta, I know, would shut down. They had kids on school buses because you guys don't have salt trucks. People always say people in the South don't know how to drive in the snow. And I go, well, I live in New England. And nobody knows how to drive up here. But yeah, it's the salt is everything. The salt must flow if we're going to be able to drive on the road. So that's a huge part of it. We have plows and salt. If we didn't have that, we'd be out of luck. And I used to live up on a ridge in Chattanooga. If those roads got icy, you were sliding to the bottom. So it was really treacherous, really treacherous. But it's great to see you, my main man, Stephen Rockwood Drawing, Mark's Music Obsession, Leg Kick 1, speaking of OG in the house. It is great to see you, Leg Kick 1. I don't know if you watched any of the fights the other night, but that was some terrifyingly amazing stuff. It is true, Michelle. You know what I'm talking about. Salt is everything. Willie D, welcome, channel member Willie D. Did I miss any other channel members is a really good question. At the end of our last stream, I realized that the font size on all of these comments was really bizarre. So I've tried to fix it. I'm sure I've made it worse. Catalyst Vault, welcome, welcome. It is great to see you. Let me see if we got any other folks here. Sol Curialt, another OG in the house. It is great to see you, my friend. Did I miss anybody else? Let me know if I did in the chat. Make comic books great again. Hey, what's up, Shanth? Nothing much, my friend. What's up with you? It's great to see you. Make comic books great again. And of course, we have a special chat for all of you people who are new channel members. And thank you, Grifter, so much. We have a member chat of 27 months of membership. Stephen Rockwood is asking me, and I'm sorry, my glasses are on wrong. He's, I guess it's about the credits. He says, where them titles at? I guess the title cards is what you mean. Well, I don't have any title cards, unfortunately. But I do have this painting. So maybe that will help with answering that very important question. Now, here's another aspect of this. When somebody sends a super chat or a member chat, we have rules in this place. And if you don't have rules, that's what separates us from the animals. Beasts of prey, beasts of burden. That's what makes us human. We celebrate you with this.
Charge!
And hello, we are back at it like a bad habit. And yeah, I mean, I think everybody, yeah, those highlights were crazy. I think everybody had a pretty impressive night there. I mean, it's not as if UFC is known for its terrible cards, but that was a pretty vicious card. I saw a knockout where I was thinking to myself, geez, that guy took a lot of hits after he went out. I forget who it was, but it was a ground and pound. The guy was knocked out, and then I think he was hit in the back of the head. It looked like twice, pretty hard. And I thought, man, that's not good. But it is great to see you guys on this fine Sunday, this snowy Sunday across the country. I feel like a little bit like Wilford Brimley, or not Wilford Brimley. What am I saying? Wilford Brimley. I should be so lucky. Like Willard Scott, and I want to say, and here's what's happening in your neck of the woods. And just kick to local weather for everybody. I actually did a stream one time where everybody told me where they were, and I read their weather out to them. So let's take a look at this. Today I am working in gouache on crescent board. For those of you guys who have never seen me do this before. And I'm working with a... Let me see what kind of brush this is, actually. Make sure I have it right. A Princeton Summit brush, number 3 with synthetic fibers on it. And I've been spending yesterday and today working on a bunch of digital stuff, so it's really great to be with you guys here doing some traditional artwork on the Nosfero Second Chance campaign. The link is in the description. But yeah, I spent a lot of time. We're going to talk about all that stuff, but this is what we try to do. We try to give you guys as close up of a look as I possibly can on this stuff so that you guys can see it happening. Oh my goodness, do we have some more folks in here? That's right. Got the Beatus. I always think of Got the Beatus, and I always think of Quaker Oats. It's the right thing to do. It's like having someone telling you, don't throw your life away. It was that kind of thing, like Wilford would look at you and go, listen, between the two of us, Quaker Oats, it's the right thing to do. And I'm like, yeah, I know drinking soda ain't the right thing to do, but that's not stopping me, Wilford. Never forget. But I love that man. Spaceman is here. Channel member Spaceman. It is great to see you, and I hope you are doing well. And of course, Simply Green, the greenest, dropping that Wilford Brimley knowledge. You gotta listen. If you have type 2 or type 1 diabetes, you gotta deal with it, folks. And of course, Wilford Brimley is in, I think, my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme film, or second favorite at least. I think my sentimental favorite is Lionheart, because it was one of the first ones I saw in a movie theater with my friend Zach Cullis. We snuck into Lionheart. This guy bought us tickets. I mean, can you imagine? And our movie back then, a Van Damme movie, was, barely anything in it. It's like a PG-13 now. But Hard Target had Wilford Brimley in it, and I just loved hearing him speak French. I thought it was awesome, riding that horse. And then when he goes, she's like, what are we going to do now? And he goes, now we put arrow into everyone who is no chance, yeah? And I went, yeah, let's do this. I always hear the remix when I say diabetes, beatus, yes. Yeah, there are some great remixes out there, Simply Green. It's true. So yeah, I've been working on layout on Spring Ball, which is going to be my next campaign after this one. And I also spent, and it's a bit of a blur, I spent all of Thursday, I think it was, if I've got the time right, God, this is tricky. I think on Wednesday, I got a message from John Malin. The link, by the way, to the Graveyard Shift Volume 5 Second Chance campaign is at the top of the links under Support Independent Creators. But I got a message from John, and he goes, hey man, can you spruce up this trailer for me that he had for the Second Chance campaign and sort of update it and things like that. And then he got me, which you can tell from the trailer, man, it looks so much sharper than the ones I usually do for John, because he sent me some high-res images that I was able to bring into it, so it looked really great. And yeah, Hard Target is fantastic. We're going to come back to Hard Target. Remind me to come back to Hard Target, because I love that movie. I was working at a movie theater at the time Hard Target came out. So I was in Usher. I was cleaning up popcorn and soda cans filled with dip. It was like, or spittoons, basically. And I was living in Chattanooga at the time. And if you worked at a movie theater, you would get those double-sided posters when the movie stopped running there. And so I got to watch Hard Target, and then I would go in and clean that theater and just spend a little extra time in there so I could see it, because I was a massive, and still am, a massive Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. And Hard Target was John Woo's first American movie, so that introduced me to John Woo, and that led me to Hard Boiled and all of those great flicks. So I love that flick so much. So John reached out to me, and he was and about a trailer thing, and I kind of spent, once he got me those images, I spent Thursday creating, all these assets in Photoshop, these layers, taking, the font, and I had already come up with type design for a Black Emperor title card, which is the name of it's Black, what is it? The Black Emperor Volume, or Part 2. And so I had that ready to go. But I did a bunch of stuff. Like I put a title card. Woohoo! Indeed, Past Master Dan. And it is great to see you, man. And I'm glad to see you healing up. That's, how do I put this? I am sorry you had to undergo carpal tunnel surgery on your wrists. But at the same time, I thank you for providing me with excellent Frankenstein photo reference. Because I am absolutely going to use that photo. You did a dynamite job. Well done. Thank you for that, man. It's absolutely outstanding. I seriously, it's I was like, this is absolutely what I need, because that's the kind of like fine area of work you would do if you were putting a hand on somebody. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. But I don't know if my wife had more empathy and sympathy and love for you. I had that also, but I was a little excited by the reference. I don't think she saw it the same way I did. But, that happens sometimes. Comic folks, a pimp's love is quite different than that of a square. I think you guys know. That. That's the way it goes. So, yeah, it's been an insane, week or 9 days or whatever it's been. I saw my brother Rocky, and if you missed that stream, check it out. Frank's Hands, thanks. Yeah, there you go. It's you've got it. You are my Frankenstein hands now, or at least that time period. Sadly, of course, it will heal up, which we're very grateful for. But yeah, thanks for taking that picture, man. That's awesome. I feel like I would need to do a painting of that. But my brother Rocky, who I have not seen in 16 years, came by for a visit, and we got to go out to lunch and take our daughters out to lunch and sit by the water. We had a beautiful day. I think he mentioned that. And it was just incredible. And I had to stream with you guys. If you missed that stream, it's a ludicrous short stream of us being silly. But it was incredible. I still feel like it was a dream. I watched it the other night just to remind myself that it really happened. Because that guy and I have spent so many years as artists working in the industry and working in the field, and all the ups and downs that you have, as you guys know, when you're an artist or you're a creative, and yet we've always had that kind of funny connective tissue where we stay in touch. We talk sometimes, kids or travel or moves or work life get in the way. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And you lose touch for like a little bit, and you haven't talked in 6 or 7 months, or sometimes it can even get to be a year, I'm sure, with kids. And so, seeing him out here and having him YouTube has just been fantastic. And I think I missed, when he left, I missed him, man. It was rough. Because it dawned on me how long it had been since we've seen each other, and I hope it's not another 16 years. Yep, Dad said it was a hobby until you got paid. Amen, Past Master Dan. Amen. But we've been at this stuff and doing this, and we could have never imagined that we would both be doing YouTube. I think he is doing, I don't know if any of you guys are subscribed to his channel. He's on his way to 500, and I want to see him get to 1,000. But if any of the mods want to post the link to Rocky's channel in the chat, that would be fantastic. But Rock talks comics. He does master copies where he does he pencils out pages from artist editions. His most recent one was Barry Windsor Smith, and then he just is learning brush inking. He wants to really get back into brush inking, and but he's so great. He uses Ecamm, and he gets all of his camera angles are really great. His shots are really great. He uses a fantastic camera. Because he comes out of production. He actually was nominated for a Daytime Emmy for his animation work. He's won a few international awards at the Toronto International Film Festival for animation. I forget what it's called. It's actually a pretty famous one. But the guy is one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. He'll be the last person to bring that up when he talks about himself. And it's really funny. It's really funny to... Because, he's kind of like... Um, yeah, I don't spend a lot of time. I mean, if you hang around this channel, you're going to hear about some of the things I've done, but I don't spend that much time thinking about it because what I'm thinking about is what I'm doing right now. And I'm sure it's with you guys, it's the same thing. I mean, we're all running around busily trying to get everything we need to get done. And so sometimes there's not a lot of time to kind of reflect and, think about what you have done and what's been going on, which is why those moments where you get together with old friends are so important. And I do mean old friends. Old. I'm just saying. And I know I'm going to get it from you guys in the chat. Old, you children. But it's a funny thing because, I've gotten to really like that I have friends of mine who just casually, I know what they do. We know what each other does, but they just casually kind of, bring it up when, you ask them a question. You kind of point that out about them. Oh, what's this person do? And, yeah, it's a really cool aspect to the people that I've known for decades. And I'm grateful for it. And so, yeah, I mean, for me right now, it's all about being, all in on what I'm doing here in Comicsgate. Rocky and Jetty. That's right. My brother. Yeah, check his channel out, guys. There's the link. Thank you, Mark's Music Obsession. I appreciate it, man. Yes, indeed. There it is. The thing is that, when I made the decision that I was going to come into Comicsgate and, and I'd already self-published those 2 books, so it was nice to have crowdfunded 2 books beforehand. But when I made the sort of decision to crowdfund this book and do all this, I kind of go into things. I'm sort of an all-in kind of guy when it comes to doing this sort of stuff. And so I started sort of making trailers and show intros and King's intros from the start. And I didn't really, think about it that much in terms of other than the fact that I'm a comic book artist, I'm an illustrator, I'm a painter, and I wanted to try to do a fully painted comic book here in Comicsgate, which thank God, literally thank God, and thank all of you for making that happen by backing and supporting the things I do. But I mean, it was all a massive leap of faith. And so it was many, Roque. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's actually, you're right. That's, I think, how it's supposed to be pronounced in the Philippines, but we've been calling him Rocky. It's like me growing up in the South. I mean, that's how I think of my name as being pronounced. It's, so I think Mandy pronounces it the most like I heard it growing up because she's from a similar area in the South. But yeah, I mean, it's, Pizza Live. I can't wait for Pizza Live, guys. It's going to be so fun, the next one, because I'm going to go through, clean up that audio. My computer could not handle all the work I was putting it through. Yeah, I will be the Stephen Rockwood of Rocky's channel. There you go. Have dibs on the first paid membership. Yes, you do, man. And well done. Yep, East Texas for me. There you go. Yeah. Hey, are you guys getting snow? Past Master Dan? Are you guys going to be getting snow? You're not in East? Are you in East Texas now, Past Master Dan? Man, I'm trying to remember. I must be having a senior moment. Let me see if I can make this work here. But yeah, I know a lot of places are getting snow because my sister-in-law is in Houston, and she was saying they got snow on the. Oh, you're in Indiana. Well, yeah, you're getting snow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you're no stranger to snow now. Yeah, that's right. I was thinking. That's right. Stephen Rockwood Drawing knows. You guys are sharing number ones on different channels. I love it. Yeah, man. Yes. Amen. Amen. Yeah, man. And hopefully, you're healing up well because I know that kind of thing can be really irritating when the weather is up and down and cold. I was actually, I saw the link when I got up this morning, but to John's late night stream for Graveyard Shift, the Second Chance campaign for Graveyard Shift Volume 5. The link is in the section where it says support independent creators. It's the first link up there. If you haven't backed it yet, there's a catch-up tier. It is X-Men meets, like if the Universal monsters were the X-Men, and I always think of X-Men 97 would be, that time period, or in the early 90s with Jim Lee would be probably the best way to put it. But it's a really fun story. It's crazy, shocking twists and turns, lots of cool stuff. So if you haven't backed it, please do. But I saw the link that he had sent out to go on the stream, and I really wanted to be on there because I was so excited about the trailer and everything like that. But I just got hit with an awful ocular migraine. I get migraines when I don't know, maybe you guys know in the chat if it's the barometric pressure or what it is, but sudden changes in temperature, when we have big temperature swings, I get the worst migraines, and I just couldn't move. And thank goodness I didn't start getting migraines until I was older. But Mrs. Enjetti, man, she was getting migraines when she was a teenager. And I mean, I used to see her get a migraine, and if you know, I know there are dogs that actually can predict migraines, but I remember she would just turn yellow like white as a sheet of paper, and I'd go, oh man, she's about to get a migraine, and it would just take her out. I remember thinking, man, like that's a tough thing as a kid to grow up with, you know. West of Indy, Hendricks County, very nice. Best time is when you're down for weather. Yep, spring, I'm breaking out. That's exactly, no, you're absolutely right. Spring is going to be awesome now. Oh, man. So how are the surgeons? Everybody do a good job? Everybody do their job really well? I always like to see qualified people doing it right. I used to get them in my, right eye, awful stuff. Yeah. The worst thing about it for me that I didn't know, I mean, I believed what people told me. It's not like I was a migraine denier. But people, when they tell me about it, they talk about how you close your eyes and you still see the colors flashing. And then, man, the first time that happened to me, I was like, what is going on? Ugh. Yeah, so, I mean, unfortunately, I couldn't go on, but there'll be time to hopefully have, I want to have John on this channel. But there'll be time to go on his channel and promote the Second Chance campaign. I'm very proud of the trailer. The only bummer was, and hey, what's up, Spaceman? Let me just read these. I feel like I missed a few of yours. I used to get them in the right eye. Awful stuff. Good, I got that one. My family was born in Gary, Indiana, home of the Jacksons. Very nice. In and out in no time. Excellent. Lots of crunchy noises from the that discouraged me from taking a peek. Yeah, I know. You gotta. It's like tough to loosen it up. I had some after my appendix surgery. I had that where you're just kind of breaking things up, which was not fun. Like I would have to. I couldn't stay in one position for too long, which you kind of can't, like lay down, or else when you sit up, it's not really great for where you're healing. And the same thing goes if you sit up too long. When you lay down, you feel it. So that was my only real big experience with surgery. Everything else was just getting my, when I'd hurt my head and get it stapled shut. which thankfully I have a pretty thick skull, but that happened a few times. So let me just zoom in here. So one of the things I always tell people about this, what I like about gouache, what I like about opaque watercolors, what I like about the stuff I'm doing, is that you can really get some beautiful, beautiful precision lines. And the trick with all of this stuff is that you don't want to, when you're doing kind of this, Art Nouveau organic line stuff, you do not want to go into autopilot and lose structure. So you can see right here on this eye, I'm going in and I'm putting in much more structure because it just was there were little circles, and I wanted to have eyelids. I wanted to make it a creature because that's what people are paying for. Oh, what's up, Amoral Fat 40 Ounce? It's great to see you. Cobra in the house. Shout out Nosfero. I'm excited to read it and look at all of that art. It's going to be so beautiful. I cannot wait. When does it fulfill? Not rushing you. So as soon as I get these paintings done, I've got it mostly in InDesign because obviously I'm using the comic book as it already was. I'm just changing the bonus features for the two different books. But God, that's a really good question. I'm hoping to be, not even hoping, I want to get this off to the printer in the next 2 months, within the next 2 months. Like it could be sooner. Like I want to talk to the printer because we want to get that printed so I can start fulfillment. So in the next couple of months, I want it to be printing. I just want to give people some time to get it because I know as soon as I go to print, I don't do big overprinting because I don't have a big space in my house to store it. So I know there's going to be people who go, man, I missed it. And I don't know what to say. It's going to be tough. I remember when Mark found out about the book right as I had closed the campaign. And I felt so bad about that because it's just one of those things that happens, It's, I could have sworn, you know what I'm missing? I just went through my collection like 3 or 4 times, and I couldn't find it. I checked the house. I was like, is it under something to get separated from the rest of the books? Somehow I have every volume of Graveyard Shift, but I missed Graveyard Shift Volume 4, and I'm pretty sure I did a recut trailer of it for fun on my channel, so I don't know how the heck that happened. But there's this ailment in Comicsgate that I've become very aware of called I Swear I Backed That. And I suffer from, I swear I backed that a lot when books come. I thought I had backed Black Riding Hood by John Malin, which was one of my most eagerly anticipated books, because it very much felt like an outlaw comic. And it is. It's great. And the book came and went, and I had missed it. I'd ordered all this stuff on either side of it. Art can't be rushed. I mean, it can, but don't. Thank you, Amoral. I appreciate it, man. Volume 4 is the bad one. I don't know what that means. But either way, I've got to get it. I've got to get that story and be a completist. And I'm really glad that he's offering catch-up tiers on this campaign. And I don't mean he's offering, catch-up like mayonnaise and ketchup. He's offering opportunities to get the collected book 1 and 2 in one volume, which I already have, and then the collected volumes 3 and 4. And I'm excited about that because I missed that book. And I know it introduces some really cool stuff. And I have the artist, the artist on that book? Oh my gosh, I'm totally forgetting it. Let's see here. I own it. Omega Storm does circles around. Well, Omega Storm is a special book. Hail, channel member Grey Wolf, and I forgot to salute Amoral Fat 40 Ounce as a channel member. My apologies, my friend. But it's Omega Storm was, I don't know which thing came first, come to think of it, but I feel like Omega Storm was influenced. It was bigly influenced by John's work on Black Riding Hood, because it just felt like he realized he could do anything. And that's what I live for in comics. And that anything has a lot of different, ways you can go about it. For me, it was doing fully painted stuff, Hammer horror, kind of doing that Hammer glamour, beautiful ladies in diaphanous nightgowns. But it was also the fact that I could do a fully painted comic book, because even though it's wildly expensive to make Nosfero books, it is cheaper than it's ever been. And because I do everything on these books, the biggest cost is to me. And I don't know if it would be possible any other way. You're right, past Master Dam. Some cities are drying up and vanishing. Yeah, that's probably very true. What? I missed a huge conversation. Hey, Grey Wolf. Hail, Grey Wolf. I've been saying hello, hello. What did I miss, man? I feel like there was a substantive comment there I really missed. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Past Master Dan, in and out in no time. Lots of Crypt. Now we got that. Oh, Indiana is having some cities. Fall on hard times. Gotcha. Wow, I really missed that. Yeah, luckily art is so easy, says channel member Stephen Rock, with the Alpha, the Omega, the very first channel member, might I say. It has a different artist, Garcia. Shoot, I just couldn't click on that. Let's see here. It has a different artist. Garcia's art is like manga. I got it. The baby faces were jarring and off-putting. Got you. Okay, so it was the placement of it. Got you. Cheaply expensive. I cannot pronounce it, Shanth. Oh my God. God bless you, man. Oh my gosh. Every time I see Shane on a stream, it reminds me of where I grew up so much. Like every time I hear him say "rill" and all that stuff, I didn't notice it watching him for the longest time because I was so used to hearing it growing up. It wasn't until people pointed it out that I went, oh yeah. Oh, because again, when you grow up around it, it's just normal. I mean, it's the best way I could describe it is when I was growing up, the accent that Mandy Summers has was the accent that was the general accent of where I lived. So everything kind of comes off of that. And yeah, it's wild to think about noticing that. Now, I did notice, I know I've talked to you guys about this a bit, but I did notice Southern accents the first time I heard them because we bounced around all over the place. Like I grew up for a little bit in Baltimore, grew up for a little bit in Detroit, as you guys know, where Dan Lawless was like a couple blocks away, which blows my mind. Don't remember being born in Houston, but we just bounced around a lot of different places. So I did, by the time I moved to the South, I was 7 years old, so I had enough time to kind of notice the accent. But the first time I really noticed it was on a trip to Universal Studios in like 79 or something like that. And I think I've told that story before, but it was crazy. I may pass out, Nosfero, there you go. Amen. Hail to you, Mark's Music Obsession. Hail to you. Yeah, let me see here. Okay, cool. So yeah, so when I was a kid, I went to Universal Studios, and it was one trip that that pretty much contained almost everything. You know that scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade that some people give a lot of grief, where Indiana Jones in like one day acquires like everything about himself on this one adventure in his childhood where he's trying to escape with the that cross of Coronado. Well, I kind of had a day like that at Universal Studios in California. And I actually recently ordered... Let me zoom out here so you guys can see more painting. Let's see if this works. I'm going to turn this around so it's a little easier for you guys to see, and hopefully not smear the paint in the process. So I had... Let me move that. Oh, sorry, guys. There we are. So I had this... bless me. It's driving me crazy. The limits of my gimbal. There we are. Right there. There you go. There's a peek at the artwork. But when I was young, I went to Universal Studios in California. So this was the map of the back of it. I ordered this on eBay so I could see it. This was the map, and then these were some of the pages in there. And they had this makeup show, guys, that was Meet the Universal Monsters. And they had all the Universal monsters in the stage show. They had someone get stretched on the rack. It had all these like crazy special effects. And it was inside of, Shanth Enjeti. Not just nod and smile. Until then, I'll just nod and smile. You're absolutely right, Stephen Rockwood. Mighty Geek Studios channel member, it's great to see you. There's about 15 different Southern accents, each unique to its area. That is 100% true. You know it's true. And it drives me crazy when I see a movie where they're faking a Southern accent and it's from the wrong place. Drives my wife and I both really just up the wall. Bad Southern accents are painful. So they had the Universal monsters there, and at a certain point during the show, because it was big during that time, they would even have Lou Ferrigno's Hulk come out. So I actually can set the scene better than I could in the original telling of this. So I'm at this show right here, which is Animal Actors. And they had the Buck Rogers, the chimpanzee, and the Buck Rogers suit. I don't know if they do that today. And I forget what that character was called. Or no, was that in Battlestar Galactica? That was Battlestar Galactica. Bosh, what's up, my man? How are you doing? It is great to see you in the chat, brother. Thank you, sir. Oh my gosh. Well, back at you, man. Back at you 100%. But I was there. I was in California. And they had the Battlestar Galactica. Let's see. Oh, do you have any of the comic art you used to? Oh yeah, I have almost all of it, but a couple pages I gave away to students. So yeah, I do have them, but they are not going to look like those finishes, but I do have them kicking around somewhere in the basement in a flat file. So I'm sitting there at this Animal Actors show, and this was the first time I heard a Southern accent. And so I go there, I see the Universal monsters. They had the Incredible Hulk come out, based on the Lou Ferrigno Hulk, into the crowd, and I'm all excited because, I mean, this is like, my mind is being blown. They had a Battlestar Galactica tram ride. They had a Western stunt show. And Jaws, who I was obsessed with. There's the Battlestar Galactica stuff that they had there. But Jaws, they had the Jaws thing in the Universal Studios, and I loved that so much. And so I get to the Animal Actors show, and there's this kid in front of me, and he's got a baseball cap. And he says, turns around and looks at me. He goes, "Did y'all see Jaws? He was scary." Never forget that little voice, man, of this kid. I was younger than him, and but I was just excited. We spent the whole Animal Actor show basically just talking about Jaws and how excited we were to be there. And I noticed when I was looking at this kid that he was bald, and he had a this big oversized baseball cap on. But the main thing I noticed about him was he wanted to talk to me, and he had a Southern accent. I was just excited to talk to anybody about monsters. And basically, this is one of those formative experiences where this was a part of it. I was savvy enough to know, even at like whatever I was, 5 or something like that, that I wasn't exactly sure why, but all the adults had stopped and they were looking at us. Like they were watching us carry on this conversation. And at first I was a little worried, like was I doing something I wasn't supposed to, because my parents were always saying, shut up, sit down, and don't distract people. And he was turned completely around, but the people he was with seemed to be smiling, and then all the adults around us seemed to be smiling at us, and I just chalked it up to, we were being silly or cute, or we were doing something funny, we didn't know, but we were too into our conversation to think much about it. And the thing that was so wild about it is after I was talking to him, for a bit, we went off, and I said, oh, he's got a really, interesting accent. And my parents, and I said, why is he bald? I didn't understand why he was bald. And my parents said to me, they go, well, that little boy has this condition called progeria, and it's causing him to age rapidly. And it's a weird thing to tell a kid when they're young, obviously, but they said he's probably not going to live much longer. And I just remember just this feeling when I was a kid of, it was almost like you met somebody and it was like they were like a new friend for the day, and then you were thinking about that on top of it. And so that really stuck in my head. I don't think I never forgot it. I would tell that story all the time as just saying, like, this was one of those, he made that day great. He was one of the best parts of that day, was meeting a kid you could talk about it with, a kid that was on your level, and you had this cool conversation. And so I was always trying to figure out who he was and find him, and the thing that sort of got me about it is that one day, and I was searching for a lot, I found a newspaper article about 3 kids with progeria who were taken on a tour of California and Disney World and all that stuff at that time. And only one of them was from the South. One of them was from Texas. And it turns out he acted in a television show or a movie or something, I can't remember, because that was one of his dreams. But his name was Mickey Hayes. And after all of this time, and after all this time I've sort of spent, let me see if I can figure out a way to do this here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but let me just see if I've got an option to do this. I feel like there should be. Let me do overlay. Let's do, be patient with me here. Let me see, countdown overlay. What's a screen share overlay? Okay, there we go. I've got a screen share overlay there. I'm going to scale it up here, and I'll try to scale this out just a little bit more. But for those of you guys who have who've heard this story before, and let me click on, where is it? I feel like there's something where it allows me to fit it to screen, but whatever. I don't know if you guys are going to hear the audio. I apologize if you don't. But this kid right here, dang it, I apologize for the idiocy of my myself. Let's see, screen aspect, entire screen. No, I want current application. There we go. Zoom to tap, activate system audio capture. So I think this will hopefully work. And let me know if you guys can hear this. All right, here you go. Here's my buddy.
It's called progeria. That's what I have.
So yeah, that was your moment with Mickey Hayes. May he rest in peace. God bless him. He was my buddy for the day that day. I've imitated his voice to my wife ever since probably we met, and I've told that story. And it's amazing because I remember thinking how fortunate I was. Hey, Apex Comics, it's great to see you, man. How are you doing, brother? And welcome. And yes, indeed, I do have some of those originals, and I'll probably sell them on the campaign. And thank you, Bosch. Again, I appreciate it. From one artist to another, love the stuff you're doing, man. And I loved talking Frank Miller with you on that stream. It was such a blast. I've been going back and looking at the Klaus Janson and Frank Miller stuff like crazy, you know. But it's that's where I remember thinking, I've read interviews with him since, and what I experienced with him was no fluke. He was a relentlessly positive person to everybody who knew him. He knew what the situation was. He actually would contact, people with the condition and say, hey, if you're feeling insecure, get yourself a big hat. It helps me, and that's what it's all about. So he was a really cool cat. And yes, guys, we are back with, of course, we keep it diaphanous up in here. You know how it goes. Let's see here. For you, it was a lifetime story. For him, it was a Tuesday. No, I would love. Let me tell you this. I would love for him to say that if we meet in the hereafter. And I believe he's definitely with the angels. That guy. I do hope that would be his opening line. For you, it was the moment of a lifetime. For me, it was a Tuesday. Mickey Hayes keeping it gangster. That makes me smile, man. I love it. Love it. Yeah, there's so much to be grateful for, and there's so many incredible people that you meet in these chance encounters. And my love of monsters and H.P. Lovecraft and all of this stuff that I'm doing, and doing books about heroes and trying to deal with this idea of how do you transcend the place that you're in. And when you're going through a tough time, and I know a lot of my family and friends and folks and you guys in the chat, you've had some tough days, and recently, and I think that there's that aspect of our character that we can reach into, and that we need to remind people that it's there, that there's this force of good, and there's this force of warm spirits and the unconquerable spirit that's around us that we can look to for inspiration, and that at the same time we can cultivate it in ourselves. And I think that's what makes those special people and those chance encounters and those friendships and those relationships that matter. I was experiencing it with my brother Rocky here, man. It was crazy. Hey, Phil, I want to let you know. I got your card. When I was having that horrible migraine yesterday, Mrs. Enjetti brought it up to me. So thank you for the card. I appreciate that, man. I was actually worried that it was a Christmas card, and that someone in our family had sent us a family Christmas card and that we had not retaliated. So it's that way when you're married. But thank you. I did get your card. Thank you so much, man. Let's see here. And yeah, everybody's saying happy Sunday. Very, very cool. It was either that when you get something handwritten, you also start to worry, is it a ransom? Is everybody we know here? Because you never know. You never know, folks. That can happen. But yeah, it's always fun to get something in the mail. Man, I tell you what. It was very cool. Sorry, I've suddenly thought I need to be inking this eye here. And then I went totally silent. You guys will see that happen with me sometimes when I'm on a stream. I am known for being able to talk in pain, I suppose. But Bob Ross is the GOAT. So that's just the way it is. But sometimes I'll just drift into the painting, and I'll just go, all in on it, and I completely forget everything that's going on. It's crazy. Up the chat's moving. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. Yep, got it. Yep, retaliated. You know how it is when you've got, so every now and again, yeah, remark Christmas cards and yes, that's right. Yeah. And thank you cards. It's so funny because there was that period early on when we had kids, when everybody had their stuff together. When your families are young and you're like, we're going to take family Christmas cards. Some people never lose it. You know them. They're incredible. They somehow manage to keep all that stuff going. And we would just think, okay, who do we have to send Christmas cards to? Who do we have to do this for? Because we keep getting cards from people and we don't send cards out enough. Oh my God, it's too funny to think about now. So you try to find the picture where everybody's got their eyes open and the kids are, that's a little Christmassy, and, sometimes you start to earmark photographs and go, well, we'll use this for the Christmas card. But, yeah, those are fun things. I do love that aspect of Comicsgate. If I have not said it enough and talked about it enough, how cool is it when you get something in the mail, to your house from the creator? I think that is incredibly cool. And it's one of my favorite parts of it is that I don't know if I definitely get my share of Amazon orders. There's no getting around that. But there's getting comics in the mail and getting something that is signed by the creator and mailed to you by the creator is cool. I was looking at Aaron Lopresti's Kit Carter book the other day, and just really beautifully produced book. And what has Aaron got going on right now? Is it Wraith of God? Fears Hollow? Is that the one that's Aaron's on right now? I'm trying to remember what it is. because I know he has an active campaign, and there's some beautiful artwork in that campaign. There's some really great stuff. I think he even has a painted cover in there. He did do a painting for Kit Carter, if I'm not mistaken, and that looked really good. And I'm forgetting where I have that. Let me pause that real quick. Sorry, I'm just going back so I have the chat open in YouTube next to me. It makes it a little easier for me to read. There we go, guys. 62 people watching on between X and YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Hit the like if you have not yet. Share this stuff out and check out Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Nosfero the Crypt Walker, all the interior artwork is done. I am actually just doing bonus material stuff and then a special piece of artwork that's for the oxidized edition, which I've been working on. So this is Nosfero. Which way is the best way to show it, I guess? This is Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Let me do this here. Hang on a second, folks. Hang on. Let me turn this off for a second here. Oh, that didn't help me at all. Now. It's worse. Yes, it's worse. The ring light is so reflective, and this cover is so reflective. So this is Nosfero the Crypt Walker. This is the first edition, which is also available on the campaign. And this is what the book looks like. The interior is not glossy. It is actually a really nice... it's not, matte. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it. But it's really great, heavy paper stock. And it's a beautiful square-bound book. There's the introduction by my wife, Mrs. Enjetti. And it's just every page is lovingly painted. And you can see the entire process in some instances on this channel right here. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you get subscribed, which is the best angle for this. There we go. And so, yeah, the artwork is really detailed, really beautiful, quite diaphanous. Thank you, Stephen Rockwood. I appreciate that, man. It's a beautiful story. And if you like the kind of silly, romantic, but from the heart optimism of stories like the ones I experienced with Mickey and things like that, it's a book it's about hope, it's about overcoming adversity, and it's about really cool monsters and heroes and sexiness and all of that stuff that makes pulp. It's a gothic pulp adventure story, and it's got werewolves, it's got everything. Like, I love this story, and I had the opportunity to see a movie with outstanding wood grain in it called Nosferatu. And I'm a huge Nosferatu fan in terms of the history of that movie, that character, everything about it. Love it and obsessed with it. And it was actually a big influence for why I named my character Nosfero. And I saw that movie, and I liked the director's first film. I didn't. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Very, very much so, guys. Thank you. And Cranberry Landers is here. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to see you. Yes, indeed. But I saw that movie and I loved it because it was this handcrafted, beautiful work of art. And in many ways, the ending of Nosfero, the last image of Nosfero, is the inverse of the last image of Nosferatu. So I'm very into that sort of poetic final image. Speaking of artists, there's Anthony Gonzalez Clark. Wow, we've had Bosch in here already, and now we have Anthony Gonzalez Clark. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And it's just, I was just like, wow, this movie is special, man. This movie has got something great going on for it. And so to see somebody working in a different media, but doing that kind of beautiful handcrafted thing was so great. And so that's been a huge part of it for me, is just trying to make sure that I'm giving folks who back this book an experience that they're not going to have anywhere. It's like, it's hand painted, it's beautifully reproduced. I'm using a incredible book printer and their color team and the guy that I work with there. I think I did 2 or 3 proofs on this book, maybe. No, actually, I take that back. I tried another printer, and then I did a second proof on this book just to make sure the colors were great. So when people get this book and they see it, I always say, those colors, you're not going to get this close to my colors outside of looking at the originals, which Rocky had the chance to see when he was out here, and he was like, holy cow, these things are glowing. Like, my original paintings are freaking ridiculous in terms of like how good the color is because of the pigment. I'm praising the paints, not myself here. But these books have to capture that. You know, the reproduction of it has to capture it. And they really do. I mean, here it is. Here's the book on one of my originals. That, I can't say it any fairer than that. I mean, that's how good these folks are, and I work with them on it. I go, okay, I got that wrong. They send me the proofs. Then I calibrate off of the first proof by going, okay, that's what my reds are doing on this file. So everything needs to be adjusted this way. I have to adjust the exposure, take the paintings back out, color correct it. Like, there is a ton of work, and it's just me, one-man operation. If you received your Nosfero copy, which is the... I hope everybody does. It was packed and boxed by me. That was it. Every one. And I tried to write a note in every one. I feel like I forgot on a few. But it is just... It's a one-man job. And that's how it has to be. You know, it's great. And thank God Eric Weathers helped me with the lettering. And bless that man. But it's when you're doing stuff like this and you're writing and you're painting and you're trying to transport people into something, it's, you know, that's what it's about. It's just about that relentless attention to detail and architecture and, you know, all the little references to things that are in here and the story. And oh my God, guys, I mean, I have never been more proud of anything I've done as I am of Nosfero the Crypt Walker. It's just a ridiculous, sort of haunting, crazy, you know, visual dream. Like, look at that panel right there. I will never paint snakes again in my comics because, my goodness, painting scales is exhausting. However, painting this character and having this panel made up of the snake creating the panel borders, and I kept trying to do that over and over again on these pages, which is find innovative ways to make the panels. And so this book is done. The Second Chance campaign offers you a chance to get no text on it, just the art. Steven, that I couldn't not pull that comment up. You guys are killing me. But it was just, I had this vision of comics ever since I saw a couple of things. A big influence for me in terms of considering doing painted comics was seeing Alphonse Mucha's work and Mobius's Arzak work, because it was very Art Nouveau inspired. And this was the comic I was dreaming was possible for so many years. And so to see it, I can't even show those pages to you guys because I'm trying to keep some of this stuff, you guys from seeing some of this stuff, and that I can't show you for content reasons. But yeah, this is the stuff, and these are the originals, or this is an original painting, and this is the book. Original painting, book. Isn't that crazy? I mean, the fact that I can do this and the fact that we have this print quality is incredible. And like I said, guys, when this campaign closes, it's going to be a while before I do something with Nosfero again, in terms of, like, I got to work on book 2, and that'll be your next chance to get book 1. So if, you know, you want to get some copies to sell to people who want it later, or you want to get some, you know, make sure you get a copy of this due. The art edition, I don't know how or when I will ever do that again. This might be the only printing ever of the art edition. But it's going to be cool because there's not going to be any lettering on it. But you can still get the oxidized edition, which is going to have a new painting in it. And it's also going to have, both books are going to have new bonus materials. Both editions are going to have new bonus materials. So if you need the story, you can get that oxidized edition. And if you're a completist and you need the first printing you can get, guys. It is available on the campaign. I don't know. I think there's a decent amount left of those. Some of the stuff, not as much. But, like, some of it's gone. Like, the second art book is gone. If you miss Rigor Mortrex on this campaign, it's a done deal. There are no more copies of that left. But, I mean, look at what we're able to do, guys. I mean, but you have to be, the thing about Comicsgate and the thing about the stuff we do here in the independent spaces, and I know people have been doing it, like, you know, like Billy and, God, who was I thinking about the other? Brian Polito and so many people who are independent comic creators in our space. I mean, I was doing it in 2002 with Spring Ball. It's a different game. But there have been independent comics for a while. But the thing about independent comics and Comicsgate, which is, you know, unique to its time, is you got to be relentless in your attention to detail. Like, you can't quit when you finish the artwork. You can't quit when you've got the word balloons on there. You can't quit with the first, what's called color proof. You've got to go all the way through to fulfillment, and you've got to maintain that discipline. And it is, and the same thing goes with streaming. And it's so much. You just got to be ready for that. And I was born for this. I love this stuff. And yeah, as evidenced by the 3 books I've already put out, which is the 2 art books in this campaign, and now I'm on my 4th campaign. So yeah, it's crazy how this stuff works, guys. But yes, check out Nosfero. It's gonna be a stunner, as we say in New England. Zaid Studios. And speaking of which, it's great to see you, man. So one of my favorite paintings, which I don't have the original anymore. My man Jeremy has the original. Let me tell you this, Jeremy, while I've got you here, man. While I've got you here, everybody say hello to Jeremy. Zaid Studios. That painting was an artistic breakthrough for me, and I didn't know it was going to be. The universe is weird that way, you know. Certainly, it's not my plan; it's God's plan in that sense. But when I start a painting, I have an idea for it. I did a sketch for it. I felt fairly comfortable with the sketch. But then there's these little things that happen when you're doing a painting that you cannot anticipate. You can't predict. And it's been that way with almost every painting I do. For when it was for the Ghost of the Badlands painting, or the painting I did for Michael for the Lucent, that's a combination of painted death, and it's that painting is insane. I know I say that all the time. Yeah, it was absolutely meant, Zaid. It was absolutely, when you reached out to me, I have, a lot of people reach out to me about doing things, and I don't know them, obviously, and I didn't know Jeremy. Sometimes you just kind of are like, okay, this painting is a painting that I'm going to be doing, because I only have so many paintings in my life. I only have so much art in my life, and I have to choose what I do based on what is going to help me take care of my family first and foremost. Of course, that's a major thing, but also what is going to be a great use of my time. And there was something in that painting. There was just something in that painting. For those of you guys who haven't seen it, hang on a second. Let me grab it. One sec, guys. Let me grab this thing. Sorry if I shook you guys up there for a second. I have it right here next to the desk. I have my copies right there. Oh, and down he goes. But if you haven't seen it, this... Oh, that light is going to give me trouble. There we go. This right here is my Beckoned Recourse comic cover. And it's absolutely madness. It's absolute madness. Yeah, when I was working on this, I think the most common thing that my wife says to me when I'm working on a project is that done yet? Because it looks like it's finished for a long time when I'm putting in these very meticulous details. And it's funny because it's whenever I sell an original, I don't... Like, I can zoom in on it on the scan of it, but whenever I sell an original, I don't really have the painting as a frame of reference. And, but I can remember so much of this painting. Like, there's little moments in this painting, like, let me see if I can find it here. Like, let's see if I can get it on frame here. There we go. Like, right there in the neck of this character and in that tree. And the decision I made with regard to what was getting light here and there on this sort of tree-like form. All of this stuff, I can just remember where I was and what I was thinking. And particularly right here with this little miniature vista that was so fun to do. And you know what I'm saying? It's, again, so much stuff to be grateful for. I mean, I had a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too, but with Graham Nolan recently, and it was just so great just to talk to Graham about his comics and to talk to him about all the stuff that he's working on and the stuff that's coming down the way. And I love that stuff. I love being around other artists and talking about this stuff. Lots of artists out here on a Sunday. I like to see it. Wow, that was great on a book. Yeah, doesn't it? It looks really great on a book. It fits the world. Thank you, Saul Curial. I appreciate that so much, man. And God bless you. I appreciate it. Was fun. It was so fun. It was a blast. Oh, don't worry. You're not shuffling my stream. I'm just literally when I come in here on a Sunday to paint, I'm here with you guys. That's what we're here to do. If you've subscribed to this channel or you're a new channel member, thank you again, Grifter, for that. This is an opportunity, for you guys to be in the studio watching me do what I do, and it's I don't know. I think there's something about that. I guess it's because I really always appreciated seeing artists work because, it was either Bob Ross, it was either on television, Bob Ross, or VHS, and it was barely in 480p, I can tell you that much. If you remember the VHS days, if you know, you know. And the thing about it is that you can learn so much more from watching people work. And I think that when you're looking at finishes, if you're interested in learning how to make artwork, looking at a finish is a bit like looking at a crime scene. You're seeing what happened and you're trying to guess how it went down based on the results that you're seeing. Whereas when you're watching somebody actually, God, that is so wobbly. I gotta set that up better. But when you're watching somebody actually paint, you're seeing exactly what they did, what order, how they approached it, and it can be incredibly useful. Oh yeah, thank you so much, Mighty Geek Studios. Jeez, channel member, thank you so much. Shanth revived the painted comics that were popular in the 90s. Well, I mean, I loved that stuff. There was some great stuff, and I really enjoy that stuff. So I thank you. That's a high praise. I appreciate it. I want to be tuned in and watching live when Shanth inevitably is crushed by the art books. It's absolutely going to happen. So you can call an ambulance. That's right. And by the way, if they're not successful, Stephen Rockwood Drawing, you can tell everybody. It's how we want it to go. There's no getting around it. It's how I want it to go. But it was really fun talking to Graham, and then of course seeing Rocky was incredible to get to see him, and yeah, I mean it's been a pretty crazy couple of weeks, and I mean if I start listing all of the wild things that have been going on, just even the kind of mad dash, to get that trailer for John. It was so fun. And guys, again, Graveyard Shift Volume 5, the link is at the top of my Support Independent Creators section down below. And yeah, I did the trailer for it, and he didn't use I wanted him to ask Ethan. I think he did, but maybe he just wanted to use the one where I created 2 opening logos for it. One logo was, hey, Diesel! Happy Sunday, brother! It is great to see you, my man. How have you been? I'm assuming great. I know Lions fans are a little bit heartbroken. Gosh, I'm sorry. This is touching the camera. It's making it all like there's an earthquake going on. There we go. Hail, brother! It is great to see you, my man. How have you been? Yeah, according to Rocky, I should go remove some of the original art to prevent that. Yes, I know. Rocky believes in that big time. Big time. He was mortified, guys, when he came in here. Go Rams! There you go. I know it, Diesel. I know it. Brother, it's a pleasure to see you, channel member. But yeah, man, it's like he was, oh my God, he was so mortified. It was memories of college, to be honest, when he'd just come in my room and go, he's like, this is a sketchbook of your artwork, and it's like here on the floor. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It's... My studio is in a state. I don't know. It's not. I'm not talking Rhode Island, guys. My studio is in a state, and I got to get it together. It's been just absolutely nuts this year, and but it's like I've got so much. I've probably done more artwork since I crowdfunded my first art book in 2018. I want to say in the last couple of years than I've done in any span of that same time period in my life. And that's saying a lot because I make a ton of work. My entire life I've always made a lot of artwork. I just can't stop. And can't stop, won't stop. So it's wild. So the artwork is really piling up. Really piling up. I gotta ask it's gonna be it's an expensive painting, so I want to make sure I ask Razor Fist first if I have the right to sell it. I'm not right. I mean, it's more of a courtesy thing. I always give right of first refusal to people who commission me to do artwork. But I'm going to be selling some of those originals soon because I got to clear out space. It's that bad. It's gotten out of hand, guys. It's gotten out of hand. Selling originals to try to keep your head above water is crazy. Let's see here. A poke at UFO. There we go. Very, very cool. Let's see here. Painted comics were exclusively, an indie publisher thing that made them stand out from Marvel and DC. Yeah, I remember seeing. Gosh, which one was it? Wolverine, Havoc Wolverine Meltdown by John J. Muth and oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Kent Williams. And I remember seeing that and going, wow, that is awesome. Like that is a fantastic looking, crazy book. Now, I wanted to do stuff that was a little bit more rendered and not as painterly, but seeing that was so cool because even though it was painted, it still did the characters justice. The way he painted Wolverine's hair and, you know, Havoc's costume and those effects, that stuff was outstanding. So that book had an influence on me. And then, of course, seeing things like Mystery Play, which was a really beautiful book by John J. Muth. I missed some of the really cool early painted comic book stuff of the indies, but of course I'm a big fan of Frazetta's stuff, and I'm a big fan of Richard Corbin's stuff, which is just, it's nuts. I like Richard Corbin's stuff because it's so crazy, you know, absolutely crazy. Let me see here. Glasses are falling off my nose, which you'd think if I had this nose, it would keep the glasses on at the very least. Random thought, who is the best letterer outside of Eric Weathers? Oh, that's a really good question. Outside of Eric, let me think. Who's the guy? Tom Orzechowski, who did does the lettering. I think he still does lettering on Spawn, but those early books of Spawn were a huge influence in terms of what I'm doing with Spring Ball. So Tom Orzechowski is great. I like Kevin Nolan when he letters his own stuff. When he letters anybody, he's an incredible letterer, and he works type into his drawings. So whenever you get a Kevin Nolan book, he hand letters the word balloons, and I love that stuff. God, who else is there? Is the guy's name, is it Workman? The guy that John was saying did the Thor lettering? I thought that stuff was pretty impressive. Who else is there? God, yeah, there's some really good letterers. I could go on and on, but there was some really great stuff. Oh, you did Beckon's letters. Excellent. Yeah. Ain't no snow bunnies in my Cat Williams. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I actually am kind of curious because I was thinking about lettering the other day, and I'm gonna be now. Lettering is its own unique art form, and God bless Eric Weathers, man. It's like I know he has his graphic design degree and all that stuff, and it helps that he's also an artist when it comes to lettering artwork. We had some really great conversations working on Nosfero, and but I do think that the lettering, once you get into the digital realm, the lettering has the opportunity to be integrated into the artwork. And I think, like, when I'm working on Spring Ball, because I'm working on it digitally and painting it essentially digitally, and when I say I'm painting it, I know you guys may have seen that X post I did earlier. But it's a really wild process how I work. But the lettering and all of that stuff is being thought of as a part of the illustration in terms of how I'm, like some of the sound effects. And I did that originally when I hand lettered it. But I'm starting to realize like what the potential is to do just crazy stuff with lettering. And I think it's an art form that's destined to be reborn soon. I think there's a few artists. Obviously, there's a lot of artists who do it from time to time. And hats off, Jeremy, for doing that. That's excellent. Apex Comics, what's up? Yeah. Ames' lettering guide. Yes, indeed. That's some good stuff. Yeah, I got a letter. Where did I get my lettering guide? I did have something around here. But yeah, I want to do some crazy lettering. That's one of the things I'm loving. When Dark Horse got Conan, they did a painted version also. Yes, as a tribute to Frazetta. Yeah, I don't have the Dark Horse one, but I do have, and this stuff is crazy, man. I do have the, oh, you guys haven't seen it. The Bande Dessinée. This is put out by Glenat, and it is, he did pencils and then they painted it. I believe it's an artist that, actually there's a couple artists working on it, but this guy is doing it's really beautiful stuff. It's very European. It's a lot of middle shots. You know, there's not like a lot of crazy close-ups. There's a lot of panels per page, but it's a really nice book. And so I got this. I like their larger format edition. So I have it in French, unfortunately, because the English edition is much smaller. But they just do, the Europeans really spend some time painting their books. And they do some crazy stuff. I'm trying to see if I can find a page that I can actually show here. I want to show you a creature page, but we'll see. I think it's early on. Yeah, here you go. For scale, here's there's a painted page with a giant monster and Conan and this lady that he is on this adventure with. Take a look at that, guys. Look at that scale, that beautiful blue-green. Look at those clouds. That's the stuff. Like, I'm trying to do this stuff not with a big publisher, not with another artist or a hand letterer. That's the stuff you can do. Yep. I don't know anything about this business. I know some from 90s comics, but I'm mostly a Comicsgate comic fan. I love hearing that. I'm kind of a tourist in that sense. My world is music and movies. Very cool. I love me some movies. And hail, Immoral Fat 40 ounce. Yeah, I mean, it's Comicsgate is a damn fine place to be getting into all this stuff because it's a time that is going to be, I think, really important in the history of comics. You know, it's that significant to me. And people I got to move my. I use this skull model to prop up my artwork so I can work with it in my lap. And I was just realizing it was sliding. So every now and again, I take that skull and I just put this on there to rest it. And it makes things a little bit easier for me. Let's see if I can move that so it's actually stable. But yeah, I mean, trying to do this stuff on your own, solo, you know, you need all the help you can get, and it's having you guys makes things a lot easier. Let me move myself over here because I'm kind of working in that particular corner there. There we go. That's a little bit better. In terms of seeing the artwork, I don't know if it's better for anything else, but there we go. Nice. So yeah, you guys can see what I'm doing up here with this stuff and the scope of what we're going for here. I'm just not doing pencils. I'm doing I'm painting these things, you know. So I sketch these things out, but then I kind of just go for it. So this is a new character that's going to be in Nosfero 2, and if you get the art edition and with a print, you're going to get the first print that's going to have this character in it, and then the oxidized edition of the book is going to have, because it's second printing, it's going to have a lot of, it's going to have some stuff that's behind the scenes, things I was thinking about doing with book 2, but it's also going to have a lot of sketches and design of what led into making book 2, and that's the fun thing for it, you know. Yeah, absolutely. It was a long journey to be a fulfilled creator, but wow, the backers and supporters make it worth it 100%. Oh, geez, thank you so much, Zane. I appreciate it. It was fun doing that cover. A Shanth cover makes it easier too. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing, you know. I like being around artists, and I like talking to artists about things. And I don't know, this may sound kind of odd, but when John hit me up about doing that trailer, you know, because he's like, can you do a trailer for me, or cut of this, clean this up, and do all this stuff? I need this ASAP. It's really cool when another artist, it gives you this feeling of brotherhood and camaraderie when you can go to, you know, artists come to you and you can go to other artists and sort of say, hey, what's up, and can I give you a hand with something? Because I just felt fully invested in doing the best job I could do with that trailer, because I know what it's like to do this stuff and to be spinning plates, and John's just one of those guys that he's always been very supportive of the stuff I'm doing. He's really excited about Spring Ball. I think he brought it up he did bring it up on stream. God, the days are blending together. I think it was yesterday, but I watched it this morning. And so, yeah, man, it's I like that. I like that kind of camaraderie of making stuff. And just, you know, you start to kind of get to know artists and what their proclivities are. And I think that was the thing about Beckoned Recourse that was interesting, which was I was fortunate that Jeremy sent me a lot of artwork and sent me a lot of reference material, which was very, very helpful. But you sort of have to live with the painting a little bit just to get into that world. And with Graveyard Shift, I've done some fun trailers. I did an Omega Storm trailer, and actually, I designed the logo for Omega Storm. God, I forgot that. God, what a trip! And I also did some logo work and some little light design work for the convention exclusives that were done that had the triptych cover. And yeah, I think I even helped John with the godlike do some passes on the godlike logo in the book. So yeah, I mean, it was weird when I got that book. John is very big on making sure that everybody gets paid for what they do and everybody gets credit for what they do. So I really do appreciate that aspect of it, man. I mean, it was cool to see that when I got godlike. I'd kind of forgotten about that, but John remembers this stuff. So Of course, when he hit me up for the trailer for the new book, which, guys, the link is in the description. It is the first link in the independent creators or support independent creators is John's Second Chance campaign, written by Mark Polton, drawn by Tommy Patterson, co-written by John Malin and Mark Polton, which is Graveyard Shift Volume 5, The Black Emperor Part 2. So do check it out, and you can do some catch-up stuff. What's up, Crenshaw FAO? How are you doing, my friend? Hail to you. It's great to see you. I found it amazing those comics were painted with gouache and acrylics. Yeah, that stuff is crazy when you see that stuff. I mean, I remember thinking, because back then, this is before digital scanners and all that stuff. I remember thinking back then, like, holy cow, you had to photograph this stuff and then take it for 4-color separation. And God, if you want to see a crazy process or hear about a crazy process, look into how Richard Corbin did his comics. When he was using layers of acetate, that guy was nuts. Richard Corbin, to me, there's a couple artists who in their process did stuff that still makes my head hurt. One of those artists, of course, is the great Wally Wood and the stuff he was doing during the EC Comics days. That stuff is nuts. I have the artist edition of it, and I think it's the most insane stuff I've ever seen. Actually, second most insane stuff I've ever seen. The most insane stuff I've ever seen in terms of process has got to be Richard Corbin. I mean, they're re-releasing his Den stuff, and I have the Angoulême catalog of his gallery exhibition he did right before he passed away. And that was a huge inspiration and shot in the arm for doing, Nosfero. I was like going, okay, it is possible. It is possible to just go nuts and do a fully painted, wild fantasy, adventure, surreal painting. And it's just, what I love about this is it's John Milius's Conan, in a lot of ways in terms of how it's designed, meets Hammer Horror and H.P. Lovecraft. And it's filmed like or colored like a Hammer Horror film, where, directed by, oh God, I can't believe I'm blanking on the guy's name. I'm sorry, lit, with color lighting and cinematography by Jack Asher. Jack Asher is responsible for every aspect where you see in horror movies or horror movie posters where they have all those luminous Technicolor colors in it. That's Jack Asher. And after watching a documentary on him and seeing his beautiful work on The Brides of Frankenstein, man, I am blown away. Tiny effort. Oh, my glasses. Let me see here. Hi, Shanth. My name is Rich. I'm in Minnesota somewhere around 15 to 20 years ago. You sent me an autographed copies of Spring Ball. It's great to see you, Rich. Rich H, right? Am I correct? Let's see if my memory's holding up. Autographed copies of Spring Ball. Only one signed to me specifically. Good to see. Busy on the art. Do you plan on doing anything with Spring Ball again? Funny you should ask. And John Milius. That's right, Apex Comics. So yeah, your timing is fantastic. Yeah, I'm actually working on a revamp of Spring Ball right now. Yes, Rich H. Thanks. I have my memory's still hanging in there, just a little bit. It's not great, but it's doing its best. But yes, I am actually doing some stuff with Spring Ball right now, and I'm going to be doing a campaign. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I'm going to be announcing it here, but I'm actually I've been doing comic books crowdfunded on Indiegogo, and my next crowdfunder is going to be a relaunch of Spring Ball. And I'm completely reworking some of the story elements. So hang on to those original copies because they are getting harder and harder to find. But yeah, so this is my most recent fully painted comic book. And then Spring Ball is going to be coming out, and it's going to be crazy. Yeah, Shanth doesn't have the olds yet. Nice, that's right. So yes, indeed. So I've got Spring Ball in the works right now. I actually just posted on X a look at some of the work I'm doing on it. But it's crazy to see you, man. It's perfect timing, man. Oh, I'll never part with those copies. I'm so glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that, Richard. It's great to see you here, my friend. Yeah, guys, this whole comic thing and this whole indie comic thing for me, I mean, if you really think about it, it goes back to my first comic I did when I was 14, a comic book called Indigo. I did the lettering, everything on that book. Then I did another comic book called Avant Garde, did everything on that book. Did my first pro job, which was Threshers. where Andy Smith did the cover. That was First Light Comics. And then the next thing I did after that was Spring Ball. And so I've been doing indie comics as my default setting for, decades now. I mean, my God, it's kind of scary to think about that. So, when Comicsgate came along and I started doing this stuff, the thing that was so wild about it was what I was looking for all that time. It's like there's no hurdle you have to cross. There's none of that stuff. You just have to make good work and show up and work your tail off. And that was something that I was very accustomed to. And the having to be responsible for everything, is something I was already doing, but without the assistance. And just learning how to stream to promote your stuff on YouTube. That was a wild thing to learn how to do, because again, this was not something that existed when I was younger. So it's a bit of a shock, to be doing that stuff, But it's so great to see you, man. I'm so glad you found me. Thankfully, I think there's only one person with my name on the planet, so that makes it easier. Still need to get Spring Ball number 2 to go with those other 2 copies. If you remind me, and do, Mark, when I get to fulfillment, remind me. I will absolutely throw in a copy of Spring Ball 2 for you. Yes, if we have one, I will absolutely throw one in there. Okay? Remind me to do that. Because, you backed that book. You backed Nosfero huge, man. And we really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Let me see here. And if I have any extras, I will be putting them up on the Spring Ball. I mean, whatever extras we find, in whatever condition they're in, we'll be putting those up in the second chance, or the second chance campaign, in the first chance campaign for the newly completely. It's so cool, guys. I can't wait to show it to you guys. It's just, when I did that book, I was 20. Let me do the math here. Someone did the math for me on one of the most recent streams. So I was born in 1976. I did that book, or it came out, I think, in 2002. So somebody helped me with the math on that. But I was a kid when I did it. I'm so glad to hear that, Mighty Geek Studios. I love doing that kind of genre. I love doing that stuff because I can sort of just go full tilt with the colors. Oh, you have the preview. The preview has got to be the rarest book, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not, but just can't find number 2. Understood, my friend. Yeah. Understood, Mark. Yeah, the preview copy, I can't imagine there's many of those left, because you could really only get those, I think, at the conventions we went to. I mean, maybe we sent some to comic shops. I can't remember. We dropped some off at comic book shops. But I was looking at Mile High Comics, and I used to go there to see if Spring Ball was for sale there, and it was like a couple bucks. And then as people in Comicsgate started buying it, the price started going up. So its price has gone up considerably because you guys have been buying it, and it's getting harder and harder to find. You guys know how it goes. Can you imagine? Every single Comicsgate book, Nosfero, which again is available right now, the link is in the description. Every single book that we do here has a print run like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. And probably less than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These books are rare limited editions, even if they're not numbered. Heaven help us what the numbered and rare editions of these books are. But it's just, I mean, my goodness, guys. It doesn't get more rare than the stuff that we're doing here. And so Spring Ball, through time and through the fact that it was a low print run book, when I launched that second, that new campaign for the new, rework of that book, it's going to be wild, because anybody trying to get that, those early books, it's going to be a tough task. And I think people are going to really be looking for them. So hang on to them if you've already got them. And let's see what happens with that. Really looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. I've been working on, I was working on that thing almost every day now for the last couple of weeks. I'm working on everything at the same time. But yeah, I've solved some incredible stuff. Like every page is just, it's so beautiful. And it's got that great, like when people talk about 90s comics and Todd McFarlane, of course, man. Yeah, I do. I joke about my memory, but I have a pretty shockingly good memory just because of just the way I'm built. And I taught college for 18 years, I think. And at one point, some students came in who were from my first year teaching. And they're like, do you remember us? Not only did I remember them, I remembered their artwork. and I still had a copy of one of the students' postcards they had done to promote their website and their artwork when they graduated. And I just said their names. I said, are you so-and-so and are you so-and-so? And was your postcard, did it have 2 characters on it? One was orange, one was blue. Totally shocked. So yeah, I think that stuff matters. I learned that stuff, or I used to hear that stuff from Todd McFarlane, and he'd talk about, just remembering people's names and just paying attention. And I thought that was important. But the thing that I love about 100% Mighty Geek Studios, Comicsgate books are going to be collector's items because of how rare they are. Yeah, I mean, I try to catch up on back issues. That's why I'm excited about John's campaigns. And some of those Graveyard Shift books I missed are like, they cost like $90 on eBay. There's not a lot of them. How do you negotiate around that? It's they're very, very rare books. And guys, if you haven't checked out the campaign yet, Graveyard Shift Volume 5. Again, I'm really trying to make sure I promote that today. Graveyard Shift Volume 5, Second Chance campaign. You can catch up on all of Graveyard Shift, including Omega Storm, with that campaign. The link is in the Support Independent Creators. Mods, feel free to throw that in the chat. But it's the first link, John Malin's Graveyard Shift Volume 5, in the description. So do check it out if you have not yet. It's great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. And it's a really fun read. It's bare knuckle, man. So it's true outlaw comics, particularly Omega Storm. But the thing about it is, and actually I've got it here, one of the things I think I really loved about Spring Ball was I was looking at some of the craziness. This is a perfect page to have opened to, that Todd McFarlane and his letterer were doing with Spawn. Some of the crazy stuff they were doing with panels. And that's the stuff that really stands out to me. That's the stuff that I really wanted to do. Hey, what's up, Green Laser? It's great to see you, man. Let's see here. Yep, it's important, 100%. I think it is important. You're right. Mr. Rogers had that ability, too. I was talking with somebody about Mr. Rogers the other day, and we were just, he was a teacher, and I was telling him how I used to be a teacher and how Mr. Rogers was a real guy. There it is right there. Thank you, Cranberry Landers. Dropping links like Oscar Mayer up in this bitch. Cranberry Landers. Swearing. I'm working on it, guys. Indiegogo Project's Graveyard Shift Volume 5 and variants. You'll get me to swear at least once a stream, but it was way worse when I was younger. But it's one of those things where you can catch up with these things, so make sure you do if you've missed those books. I want to get the tier that has the collected volumes 3 and 4. Yep, I remember faces even many years later, but names usually elude me. Yeah, I mean, if I got to go with one of them, faces for sure. Yeah, Graveyard Shift. Yeah, man, it was a great launch yesterday. I think that what John, Mark Polton, and Tommy Patterson have done with Omega Storm and with Graveyard Shift Volume 5 is really cool. It's a really awesome time for Graveyard Shift. So if you haven't checked it out, jump on that. If you like monsters and Lovecraft mythos and all of that kind of stuff, you're gonna dig it. But also it's like 90s X-Men, 90s and 80s X-Men maybe meets the Universal monsters. And I guess the way I'm describing Spring Ball right now to people is Spring Ball is Evil Dead meets Spider-Man. That's the best way I could put it. And it's got some just really crazy slapstick action. It's got monsters, it's got creatures, it's got a little bit of gore. Not really gore in the sense of, it's not gory in that way. I should actually say it's not. But it's got scary stuff in it. And it's going to be so fun. So when I first did the book, and it was early on in my Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft reading journey, I named the place where the laboratory is in Spring Ball. I said that it's on Sentinel Hill, which is a reference to the Dunwich Horror, which is my favorite H.P. Lovecraft book. So, I mean, there's some really cool stuff coming with Spring Ball. I mean, it's just, it's a very visually rich book. I haven't been around much in the last few months. Just checking. It's great to see you. Well, I hope everything is well, Green Laser. That's the most important thing. And it's great to see you. I'm always excited to see people, man. Yeah, I have difficulty with names. Yeah, I've been there, my friend. I've been there. I want to see what I have. Hang on a second here. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. Yeah, creatures, monsters, and gore. Oh my, says Apex Comics. I like where your head's at, my friend. I like where your head's at. Let me see if I can do this here. What have I got? I've got so much junk here, man. Do I want to do? No, I don't want to do that one. Hang on a second here. Quit Photoshop. Hopefully I don't quit something I'm supposed to not quit. Let me see here. So let me go File, Find. Let's see if I can share this with you guys. Downloads. I just posted this on Instagram, but it will give you not Instagram. Sorry, not Instagram. On X, and let me see here. What did I do? Okay, so let's do source. Nope, I'm being a moron right now. Sorry, folks. New screen share overlay. There we go. Let's make sure that is not entire screen because it's not what we need. We need current application. There we are. And I'm going to scale this up a little bit here, guys. So, to explain the scale that we're looking at right here, Shanth, if I sent you my Spring Ball 1 and 2, would you sign them for me? Well, here's the thing. I'm definitely going to hold on to those copies because I'm definitely going to be, at some point, we're doing a convention. I was talking with Graham after the stream, and he says, you got to come down to New Jersey. I will find a way to get out to a convention. The missus would love to get out and travel. So that's definitely a case. So hang on to those for sure. Web of Spider-Man 1985 was the first and only comic that I bought. Every first volume issue from 1 to number 129. Wow. Not that it's the best, just the only one. That's awesome, though. Yeah, Shanth, are you totally focused on comics now, or do you have enough extra work for another? I have enough extra work for another art book. Absolutely, I do. Just the commissions I've done, I've talked to all those folks. I will talk to them again. I could put those together in an art book, 100%. So this right here, what you're seeing, this is 1 square inch of detail in progress. It's not even finished yet. And then there's a look at what the whole page. I blacked out everything else on the page here to show you guys what the full ratio of the art is. So you can see how detailed that gets when it gets reduced, and then what it's like when I'm drawing it. So this is what my stuff is looking like, and it's not totally refined yet. I've still got some areas I want to detail in this section. I actually got quite a few areas I want to detail. You can see how I paint the stuff in right there as I build it. I'm really this is a painting process for me. But that right there is a look at what I'm doing on Spring Ball. And it's going to be absolutely nuts, guys. Craziness happening with Spring Ball. So, yeah. I have questions now. I didn't have all those years ago. Yes, there are going to be some answers. Yeah. Coming. About a month ago, I reached out. Oh, cool. Email messenger. If you ever have a minute, your busy schedule, check your messages. Yep. Since we last spoke, I decided to pursue art. Very cool. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Love it. Man, it's just it's cool news. Oh, thank you, Apex Comics. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I mean, the thing I posted on X when I was talking about it was I said, the thing about the way I work is I work like a painter and I think like a painter. And so, how do I word this? I like to break things down by doing color and then doing the line after the fact. So I still get ridiculously detailed with my line work, but I rough things in with broad colors because I think of from color blocking in and value to then rendering. And I just wasn't thinking in those terms with regards to Photoshop or anything. I was doing black and white line artwork, which is very against my thought process, and then adding the color after the fact. So I was almost doing a color painting underneath the stuff and that was the first Photoshop I ever did, was on a comic. Can you imagine teaching yourself Photoshop and color theory and all that stuff, which I knew, but I was learning it on Photoshop for Spring Ball. And lettering on top of that, guys, everything on those books. Oh, excellent. All right, yeah, man. Don't worry, I'll find my way out there. I've got a lot of people in Southern California, and I hope you're doing okay, Spaceman, by the way. I don't know how far south you are, but yeah, I've got a lot of friends who I'm checking in on who are experiencing some tough stuff right now. But yeah, we'll make that happen, Spaceman. Don't you worry. And what else was I talking about? I just was thinking something. You can tell my brain's starting to fade. But yeah, I mean, it was it's crazy to me because I think in those terms of blocking things in with color and then going in with line work. So sometimes when I show stuff in progress, people are like, wow, that's really squiggly. And I'm like going, yeah, but it's going to start getting tighter and tighter and tighter and more refined. So what I'm doing with those files is, in a lot of cases, is I'm moving panels around or I'm reworking panels completely. And everything is getting touched. Every panel in that book is getting reworked. Like, it's not the same book. And the story is shifting. I even created a font that is the Springball font where I took the letters. What have I got going on here? I totally messed up my background here. What did I do? Oh, no, I think I got it working. But I actually took my hand lettering from that time and I built a font so I can type in my hand lettering from that time, which is so cool. And then when it gets to the sound effects and the lettering, oh, no power for a couple of days. Oh, jeez. Ah, jeez. I am so sorry, man, Spaceman. That's terrible. We're fine, Sean. No power for a couple of days. 13 of our friends lost houses. My God, man. Yeah, I am so sorry to hear that. I think about, we were talking about that just in terms of, like, you know, people lose it, like when a computer dies and they lose all their work or they lose all their photos. I have, thank God, never lost everything in a house fire. I know some of you guys probably have. I know a lot of folks have had that experience, but it's got to be devastating. And, you know, I'm wishing them all the best. It's terrible, you know, absolutely terrible to hear that. Yeah. I remember, I forget who it was, but, and so maybe you guys in the chat know, but there was somebody in Comicsgate who had, it was either flooding, a pipe bust or something. I think it was actually just flooding from a storm or a hurricane, or it was a fire, and they lost all of the stuff they'd been collecting from Comicsgate. And I just thought, oh my God, like they lost all their photos, they lost their home, they lost everything. But there are people with massive comic collections who just lose everything. And I know Rocky had floods that flooded his house like 2 or 3 times because of the layout of the land. And he's just been ever affected by that. So I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes. Yeah, that's rough stuff, guys. Again, my heart goes out to them. That's really unfortunate, man, that all that stuff's going on. Oh, Lordy. Okay, let me, this I can absolutely do. Would you guys wish me luck or pray for me to get a job? I absolutely will do that 100%. Consider it done, my friend. Yes, Cranberry Langers. That's a big yes. Comicsgate books are so rare in comparison to your average comic book. You're absolutely right. Immoral Fat 40 ounce. It's true. I mean, I have, I was just looking over here because I had Graham on the other day. I have my Monster Island copies here of Return to Monster Island and Escape from Monster Island is available. It's the 3rd in the 3-book series. If you haven't got that, make sure you grab it. Fortunately, thank you, Zaid Studios. I have Beckoned Recourse. I have a few copies of that because I got sent a bunch so my kids could have copies of it and things like that. So thank you, Jeremy, for that. But yeah, I mean, I've got my box of Comicsgate books over there. So yeah, I mean, they're rare and they're tough to find. You know, they're tough to find. And I when I got my copy of Black Riding Hood, I had to pay a little bit for that because there were not a lot of those made. There just weren't a lot of those. I hope John does something with that book because I know people are excited about it and into it, and I am too. I feel as though in a weird way that the stuff he's doing with Black Riding Hood made its way into Omega Storm, which is to say that kind of outlaw comic mentality. And even though Nosfero is a very what's the word I'm looking for? Aspirational story, and it's a story about hope, and it's a very, very positive and beautiful and life-affirming story. Because of the way I'm working on it and some of the stuff I'm doing in it, it is very much an outlaw comic, just not in the traditional sense. But I think you could probably make the argument that so much of what we're doing in this space is outlaw comics. Yep, there you go. Prayers up to you, Cranberry Langers from Spaceman. Yes, indeed. Yep, I love my Speedball cartoonist set of nibs. They're absolutely fantastic. Great for lettering. Yes, indeed. Katie, it's great to see you, Katie, all the way from England. It's great to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Prayers up for Cranberry Langers. I hope John does a sequel to Black Riding Hood. I absolutely agree with that. And speaking of John Malin, while I've got him here, let me do this here, guys. Let me do this. We've got a couple of books that with links in the description there. And what I want to do real quick, if I may, if you will allow me, is I want to grab a couple of them that are there as best as I can do. Sorry if this is going to be a little bit out of order, but these are some that are going on right now. And I want to play a couple of trailers for you really quickly, also so I can blow my nose because I can't breathe. So here you go, guys. There you go, guys. Thank you for your patience, and do check out those books. There's links to those books and many others down below in the description. It's right under support independent creators. I try to put as many links as I can in there. I hope I got Art T-Bear's Black and... I don't think I did, guys. I got to do a trailer for Art T-Bear. I always do custom trailers on this channel, and I want to do one for Art T-Bear's Black and White, Sins of the Father, Book 3. I really want to make sure I do something for that because Art T-Bear is just a great guy and a fellow artist. And Bosch, you got a great eye, man, or a great ear for that, man. That was American Werewolf in London, which for me, I know there's a debate. Between The Howling and American Werewolf in London, but I always tell people American Werewolf in London is the better werewolf movie, and you have a right to your opinion, of course, if you disagree, but yours is wrong. It is American Werewolf in London. Yes, indeed, and Fembat on Fund My Comic. We got people talking comics to check out, Apex Comics. Also, Cash Grab is on Fund My Comic, and I love those guys. Were great when I did the logo sort of spruce up for them. They were on it. They were excited, and they ended up using it on the site. So reaching out, yeah, thank you, Bosch. Bosch knows. It's 100% better. Yeah, agreed. God bless you. You know what I'm talking about. I could talk about that movie, and I have probably all day. It's a great flick, and yeah, I mean, everybody was just firing on all cylinders in that flick. Everybody was like, it was Rick Baker. Like, that's when I think about how old Rick Baker was when he was working on that movie, and even him and Rob Bottin on The Howling. Like, I'm not to sleep on The Howling. It's a great flick. But what Rob Bottin did on that and The Thing, you look at how old those guys were. They were essentially kids, and they were inventing this art form, and or reinventing this art form from Jack Pierce, right? And even what was it? Millicent Patrick, who designed Creature, but I forget who sculpted it. It was Chris. I hate it. I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, but there was some amazing work being done. But the creature effects of those transformations in those movies are still mind-blowing. Yep. Stays with you like no other werewolf movie. Baker is the standard. Absolutely right. The redhead you have on the screen on the left looks like Maggie. It is inspired by Maggie Smith. Good eye again, right? Who starred in several Hammer movies. Good eye. Yes, she is inspired by Maggie. Not by Maggie Smith. I know who you mean. Not Maggie Smith. It's Madeline's. No, shoot. It's not Maggie Smith, but I know who you mean. What's her name? God, this is gonna drive me crazy. Is it Madeline? No. Smith. Now this is killing. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. She was in The Vampire Lovers. She was in Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. Somebody help me get it. Shoot. I can't believe I'm blanking on it. It's not Miss Pitt. It's shoot. Is it Madeline Smith? Maybe I'm getting it. Yes, it is. Madeline Smith. There it is. Madeline Smith. So Madeline Smith was the name. She was a Bond girl, and she was absolutely the influence for this piece. She was a Hammer horror beauty. She was probably in a few movies, and I'm a big fan of what do you call it? Oh my gosh, of Ingrid Pitt. Ingrid Pitt's got an incredible story. Trying to forget that one. MGS. Let me go back. Mikey Studios. Have any of you seen? Yes. Now that makes total sense to me. Yes, An American Werewolf in Paris was rough. It was really rough, and there's a lot of things. Like, gosh, it's like that's a movie that didn't really obviously need a sequel, but it's just weird. Like, American Werewolf in London is one of those movies that is a miracle how it comes together. It's just magic. You can't really make magic happen like that twice. It's not possible. You know, it's special. Okay, go get some sleep, Shanth. Jeez. Do I look that? Yeah, because I can't remember Madeline Smith's name. I know, that's a bad sign. My brain is starting to fail when I cannot remember Miss Madeline Smith's name. But yeah, what a lovely lady. And going for, you know, I was talking about that earlier with this stuff, is that, you know, Jack Asher, who was the cinematographer, Carolyn Monroe, the first movie I saw her in was not a Hammer horror movie, and I don't know if it was done, what point in her career it was done, was Golden Voyage of Sinbad with special effects by the great Ray Harryhausen, and I forget who who directed that movie. It was I think it was his longtime collaborator. Was it Schneer who directed that? I think. But just what an incredible actress and what a visual beauty. But the thing that I love about Hammer Horror is the Jack Asher lighting when him and Terrence Fisher would work together. And all of those vivid colors I really was trying to get happening in Nosfero. Those rich reds, those green. He did some stuff with reds and greens in those movies that's so beautiful. And I remember thinking, I'm in Comicsgate. I'm doing this independently. I can do anything I want to do now. You know, I'm free to do what I need to do with these characters and with these stories, and it's just so cool. I have my own story that I'm writing. Should I copyright the title before I talk about it? I would say it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea to do all of that stuff. I've heard people, you know, give varying advice on that, but I think that it's always a good idea to protect yourself and do that. You know, and I think it's easier than ever now online. I remember going to a trademark lawyer when I did Spring Ball way back in the early 2000s, and having to go through all of that stuff and talking to a trademark lawyer and copyright and, you know, what the difference was between the two, and that stuff is you know, it was very, very difficult to do, but I think now it's a lot easier to do it online, thank goodness. Nathan Jurin directed Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, yes, and who did Golden Voyage? Because Golden Voyage was the one I think that Carolyn Monroe was in. And by the way, Seventh Voyage is, of course, a masterpiece. Like, it's up there with King Kong in terms of, for me, the way that it impacted a generation of special effects artists. There were some great stuff Ray Harryhausen did before that, of course. But that Cyclops in Seventh Voyage and the skeleton fight, which he only upped the ante on with Jason and the Argonauts, it's just, these things are the stuff that dreams are made of, man. It's just a great flick, man. It's just a great flick. That stuff, really, I forget what channel was playing it, but it was some cool stuff. Looking forward to your book, Sean. Thank you so much. Have a great day. CG, back at you, Bosch. I cannot wait to check out your book. I'm a massive fan of the stuff you're doing with the art. It's so funny when we were talking about Frank Miller and we were talking about, you know, peak Frank Miller and just that raw quality his stuff had. And it's weird too, because looking at some of the stuff you're doing, it reminds me of a big influence for me in some of the stuff I do color wise, which was, of course, you know, Lynn's work on The Dark Knight Return, well, all of Frank's stuff, 300 and all that stuff. And I remember seeing her colors when on the more minimalist panels and thinking they were brilliant, because it's got this great grit and this rawness to it that works really well with his stuff. And you're sort of the total package of that. So I cannot wait to see that book, my friend. So keep kicking ass, and it's great to see you on this fine Sunday, man. Have a great rest of the day. Absolutely. Let me see. Okay, let me make sure I'm caught up with the chat. Yes, the sexy Carolyn Monroe, 100%. Oh, here we go. Spaceman saying, and again, I'm so sorry to hear about your friends, Spaceman, losing their house. 13 friends losing their homes is just, it's just horrific. And I know so many have, but that's a lot. That's a lot of people you care about losing their home. My wife had her picture taken with, the werewolf from American Werewolf in London. Baker named him Oscar because he won an Oscar for it. I love it. That is so great. Fantastic. Yeah, Varley changed the game, and thanks. You are very welcome, my friend. And yeah, that stuff is beautiful. I still look at those books, and they're still high water marks for me in terms of color. Breathtaking stuff. So yes, have a wonderful rest of the day, my friend. And your work is awesome. Keep kicking ass. All right, let's see who else we got here. Okay, good. I think I got everything. So yeah, guys. So make sure, you know, you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that, you know, you become, if you feel like becoming a channel member, please do. I have updated the channel member credits so that everybody who is a new channel member, thanks to Grifter, donated 50 channel memberships, which still blows my mind. Thank you, Grifter. I do appreciate that. He's got a little special, what's the word I'm looking for? Embellishment on his name in the channel member credits. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys for that. And I'll be continuing to do more painting streams. Of course, we've got Pizza Live on Thursday where we watch public domain horror movies. They still come after me about it for movie. I mean, God, it is. I'll do it as long as I can, but it's like they'll still go, well, that song use, no matter how much I change it, is, you know, so they're claiming revenue on this. And I'm just like, oh, it's so frustrating, guys. There's so much stuff where you'll use copyright music, free music, and someone will put false claims up on it, and it's just a lot of time to deal with that stuff. But we'll keep doing what we're doing until the wheels fall off, guys. It's going to be great stuff. Yep. Prayers to Spaceman's family and friends. Amen, Apex Comics. Well said. Well said. Indeed. Indeed, guys. Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to keep having fun, and of course I do these painting streams, and, you know, you guys can come in here, and we can talk, and we can just zoom out a little bit so you can see both my messy desk and then all the stuff I'm doing here. But it's a really, you know, it's a good time if you're into this kind of stuff to come into the channel, and you get to watch me paint and talk about painting and my process. You can ask me questions about what I'm working on, whether it's Spring Ball or, you know, the finishing work I'm doing for the Second Chance campaign for Nosfero. The link is in the description. It's my active campaign right now, so if you haven't got it, suggestions, Rumble, for pizza live. I'm all about it. That sounds fantastic, by the way. And man, I'm hungry for pizza, but I think we just had pizza recently. But yeah, I mean, this is the best, 24-hour a day, 365-day a year comic convention you're ever going to see. Lord Henson, it's great to see you, man. Sup, y'all. Sorry I'm late. Sundays are busy in the first half. Understood. Have to bounce. Have a great day. Thanks, Shanth, from the heart. Absolutely, my friend. From the heart of Lovecraft Country, the birthplace of American religious liberty, back at you, brother. It's great to see you, and thank you for being a channel member, Spaceman. And Lord Henson, speaking of channel members, it's great to see you. I'm about to wrap up, unfortunately, my friend. Oh, my gosh. But it is great to see you on this fine Sunday. I hope it has been a great one for you. Guys, thank you so much for being here today while I work on this painting and while we just continue to do what we do, which is make handcrafted... move my support skull there. Handcrafted, crowdfunded, beautiful works of art and story. It is a pleasure. Skeleton Core Comics, it's great to see you. Welcome. Let's see here. Oh, cool. I've been working on my celebration meeting. Oh, no worries. I'll restart. Sounds absolutely great. And sorry, Lord Henson, it's great to see you, my friend. Yes, indeed. I'm going to bake a strawberry rhubarb pie. That sounds fantastic, man. Tomorrow's a big day. You know it is. And hail, Skeleton Core Comics channel member. But guys, I'm going to be doing more of these streams. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you haven't been unsubscribed. Make sure you like this stream. It does affect things a lot. And what else? Guys, check out Graveyard Shift, which just launched yesterday. Volume 5, Second Chance Campaign. All the Graveyard Shift books are available. So if you missed something, you can catch up. I think that's a really great option for people. I did the trailer for it. Let me play that trailer one more time. It's not my closing yet, so I'm going to watch the trailer and I have a few more thoughts for you guys. Or just a few more thank yous for you guys. So here you go. Here's that trailer I did with the Ethan caricature in it. So that was a fun part. I'll be right back with this after this trailer, guys. Welcome, Toshiro. It's great to see you, my friend. Check this out, guys. This is what I do. I was so excited to learn that was Sontag on vocals, and that was his band. So he gave John permission to use that music for his trailer. So that's actually incredible to think that in addition to being an amazing artist and doing a great job with his YouTube channel, he's also been a lead singer in a freaking metal band. It's crazy. Oh, God, I love Seventh Voyage of Sinbad 100% Rich. It is beautiful. And I had a really fun time doing that trailer for John, so please do me a favor and check out that campaign if you haven't. It's the first link in the Support Independent Creators. So you're going to see my campaign, Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Then there's going to be links to all the t-shirts and stuff, but there'll be a section that's got a little Statue of Liberty, and it says Support Independent Creators, and right under there are a bunch of different campaigns, and John's is top of the bill. How does that work, Shanth? John gives you images and music ideas and asks you to put something together? Yes. So John and I have now, God, it's so funny how you meet people and you get to know them and you form, creative friendships and partnerships with people. But I did some work on the Godlike logo, but I think the first things I did was trailer stuff. I did the Omega Storm logo design and things like that for John. And then I started recutting trailers for the start of my show, and then John saw one and I think he liked it. So he asked me to do some changes to it. And kind of hired me to do that, and then he just hit me up for a trailer for this campaign because he's got a million things going at all times. He's incredibly swamped with stuff, and he felt comfortable, and I was of course I'm so glad that he does. He feels comfortable letting me work on things, gave me some notes, and that's how it goes. So he sent me he shared with me the high resolution images, which is great because they look Guys, Tommy Patterson's work on this book looks so great when you get to see it like that in high resolution. So he shared with me all the pages. He said, put as much stuff as you can in it. And then I kind of came up with the idea for the Roman numerals because I had a feeling he was going to be offering the old book. So I probably spent all of Thursday, the first part just staring at my screen, trying to figure out how to break it down. But then I think all Thursday I spent on it, and then he gave me some notes, and then I spent the rest of that day on it, and then so I think it was like a couple more hours on Friday when I got home. And then I did, I wasn't happy with the colors on it, so I did work up until pretty much the launch of the campaign. So he wanted another version. I did a version with Ethan's sketch as the opening thing, and then he wanted a version with his signature on it. So I cut that together at, I think, 11:30. And then I think he launched the book stream launched at 1. So I think the last file I sent him of that trailer was maybe an hour and a half before the campaign launched. But, you know, that's how it's crazy, guys. We're always working like crazy, and it's awesome, and it's fun. I love doing stuff with John because John knows what he wants, and he's fairly clear about it. But he's also he's open to stuff you throw at him too. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun to work in Comicsgate and work on different things. It was the same thing with doing the CyberFrog trading card for Ethan, which was one of my first Comicsgate gigs. So that trading card is one of my favorite paintings. And Ethan was cool. I saw my first sketch, and Ethan's like, nope, looks too much like my it's drawing I've already done, man. Because I was trying to use reference on it, and he was like, do something. And he got a great painting out of me because he pushed me, with it, which was so great. I've done stuff for Von Klaus, which was really fun. I've done, I'm trying to think. The piece of painting I did for Razor Fist was a lot of fun. For Ghost of the Badlands. The one I did for Michael on the Lucent was a blast, and of course Zade Studios with the Beckoned cover I did came out great. So yeah, it's really cool to be in this space and to be creating trailers and intros and all this stuff, and that's how it goes, guys. We do all this stuff by hook or by crook. You guys make it possible, so please check out Nosfero the Crypt Walker. Back it if you haven't yet, and go check out John's Second Chance campaign, because what him, Mark Polton, and Tommy Patterson have done on that book is really fantastic. I really liked Omega Storm a lot. So I just thought it was nuts. Like, it just felt like there were so many characters and so many different storylines going on. And it had a real outlaw comic feel to it, particularly the shock ending. It was intense, and I like that comics can kind of do anything, and I don't like to read comics that are exactly like the ones I make. I like to read stuff that throws me curveballs and does really interesting stuff. So I couldn't be happier. So when I'm seeing the stuff that Dale's doing, Ethan's doing, and all the amazing artwork I'm seeing that Bosch is doing, so many amazing folks, just doing the work of their careers, it's great to see. Yeah, I know it was some brutal stuff. Yeah. And this is the thing about it too. One of my favorite John Malin pieces is the Omega Storm cover that he did for that book. I don't know if you guys remember that, but there was like a white background. It had elements of Wills and Travis and a lot of different artists that I really liked, but it was totally John, Oh, thank you, Cranberry Landers. I appreciate it. And what a lovely note to end on, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today on this fine Sunday. I'm wishing you all the best on the weather, and all of you guys who are out on the West Coast. I'm, of course, thinking of you guys and hoping that you are well and taking care of yourself. I've been in touch with a bunch of my friends out there who I consider family, and I know it's been very tough going there, guys. So from the heart of Lovecraft Country, in the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Shanth Enjeti. This is Shanth Enjeti Art. Thank you for joining me for another painting stream. And as I always like to say, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace be with you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you guys soon for another stream. Check out Nosfero the Crypt Walker and Graveyard Shift Volume 5 Second Chance. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, Torchbearer. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, Simply Green. It's great to see all of you guys. Cranberry Landers, Mark's Music Obsession, my man. It is great to see you, brother, in the chat. Thank you for being in first and always keeping the torch going, man. I appreciate it. Later Taters, says Lord Hinson Comics Gator. Yeah, take care, guys. God bless and have a good week, everybody. And so if you are a channel member, prepare to see your name in the credits, and I will see you guys very, very soon. And hopefully these are the right credits to play. So take care, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.